it's not an IT spend anymore. It's not their budget. It's definitely shared cross-functional budget. So CFO, when looking at the expenses quarterly, monthly, weekly, right, they really have to understand what Finops is, right? Why engineers asking for these budgets, right? Where are they going? What kind of metrics? What kind of measurements? Absolutely. So why don't we jump into the adoption? What's the right angle? What's the right conversation to have within the organization?
Yeah, maybe I'll touch on one of your points, right? You mentioned something about like, finance team needs reports, and one of the principles of FinOps, framework is that data reports should be accessible and timely. That data sometimes is not accessible, and platforms like FinOps make it easy for people to easily get that data in a format that people are used to, so they can make decisions. But I digress. Sorry. You asked the question about the adoption, right? So FinOps has 3 phases. Inform, operate, and optimize. We can start with like inform first. Like as Peter Drucker said, like you can't improve if you can't measure. Like everything starts with this, like looking at like where do you stand, building a baseline on where you stand. So inform phase is critical. And I also think that all these 3 phases, you have to leverage automation. The more you can leverage automation, the more you can focus on building, cool technology on cloud, and not have to worry about spending all this time, on analyzing cloud spend. So, in the inform stage, what we see is primarily, if you look at like deck of cards, you have 52 cards. You can have them in different stacks, but end of the day, you still have only 52 cards, right? So essentially, you're doing that, right? You're looking at your cloud bill, you're putting it in a different buckets. Like here, this is production, this is R&D, this is utility, and what this is called showbacks. So essentially, you're showing different teams, and how much is the cloud spend is like driven by their or managed by their team, right? End of the day, you should not have any unallocated costs. And this needs to be done like near real time. Like FinOps does this, where we have showback dashboards, where as the infrastructure is changing, we show you like, hey, in this bucket, we see you have this much unallocated costs. And also there's another phenomena, Irene, like people sometimes don't name the resources the right way and things like that. So you have to leverage machine learning to make sure you group the right resources together. But that's normally a starting point. That's where, like, when we work with companies, like just looking at building a showback dashboards and just allocating all the costs is a good starting point. The second phase is optimize. And this is where FinOps could help quite a bit. So we have a commitment management for AWS, and this is one of the areas where we believe that engineers should be like working on building stuff as opposed to understanding AWS pricing plan. So we free up engineers so they don't have to worry about buying and selling the RIs. We provide risk-free commitment management, where we automatically buy and maximize the RI coverage. So let's say you're moving to the latest and greatest technology. AWS has new processors, Graviton processors. We see a lot of customers adopting that. As you move to new type of workloads, we automatically start covering the new type of workloads, and you don't have to worry about not moving because you committed to old technology. So we do that automatically. This is an area like I really think that a lot of companies should focus on, just automating, as much as they can, so the engineers can focus on innovation. Under optimize phase, you're constantly looking to optimize um, the spend, make sure it's aligned with the business needs. We have a scheduler where, first of all, we use machine learning to look at the usage behavior of an application, and then we are leveraging AWS Event Bridge to automatically pause resources when you're not using them. So that's the true benefit of cloud, right? That's the reason you move to cloud. And a lot of our customers find that extremely helpful. Again, the theme here is we're leveraging automation. So the infrastructure is automatically optimized with the business needs. And lastly, we also look at customers' container optimization, container utilization. We have an agent that we deploy into customers' environment, and based on our findings, we send pull requests. And our pricing model is very simple. Customers only have to pay if we optimize their spend. So everything we do is based on percentage of the savings. So we're always looking for ways to optimizing customer spend. And the last phase of FinOps is operate. So where like, how do you maintain a cloud backlog? How do you prioritize? This is how we see most of the customers adopting FinOps framework.